So this is our first mini project here, and in lesson 4 we're going to create an HTML web page. I want to be very crystal clear that we're creating a web page, so this is just going to have one page to it. Once I create multiple pages and put them all together, it becomes a website. You're just going to make one page right now. So we're just going to make a web page. There's a couple things here that are going to be important to us right now, the project guide and the rubric. I will be giving you a printed copy of the project guide because it requires some drawing, and then I will give you the rubric will be posted online for you to review. So let's start with the project guide. So in this project, you're going to define a goal for your personal web page, then prepare to develop your page by designing it on paper, try out your new HTML skills by developing, and then reflect on your process. Strange. Notice there's 4 bold words there: define, prepare, try, and reflect, because that is our code.org problem solving process. So we're back to using the problem solving process that we learned in chapter 1. So my first thing here is I'm going to state my goal. And as I've been telling you, code.org is really big on for good causes. And so their for good cause right now in this mini project is a personal value. So things that are important to you above and beyond just truths, things that you believe are universal. So here you're going to talk about personal values that you would like to share with the world. So first thing you got to do is think of a personal value that you could make a web page about. So for instance, my personal value might be treat others as you would like to be treated. That could be the personal value that I would be comfortable sharing with the world. And so that would be what I would be putting there. So then what you'll do in step 2 is you're going to talk about in words how you're going to create a web page that can talk about that value. Remember, you don't necessarily have a ton of HTML skills yet, which is the purpose here. They want to make sure you understand the basics before we head on to those more advanced tasks. So how can your web page design communicate your values? What content do you think would be important to include in your web page? And how should the content be organized so it's clear what is most important? Now, I want you to remember, we have not learned, for instance, how to drop an image on a website. We have not learned how to create a hyperlink. So you can put in links on that website to other things, but they're not necessarily going to appear correctly with HTML, and that is okay. The point here is to make sure you can use the basic tags, not that you can do every single website task, because you're going to be learning more of these website tasks as we go throughout the chapter. So you'll be answering those questions, and then as we come down here, you're going to sketch your page, so kind of what your website's going to look like. Obviously, you're going to have a lot more writing there right now than anything else, but that should be a guide you'll be able to follow when you actually start creating. Remember, there are some things you already know how to do. Like you already know how to make things bigger or smaller. You know how to offset some paragraphs. You know how to make lists there. So those are all things that you could think about incorporating because you already know how to do them. And down here underneath that, you're going to list the HTML tags that you'll need for your page. So be thinking about all the tags we've learned so far. Which ones are you going to need? And then in step 3, you're actually going to create your page, and you're going to create your page in code.org. And then you will reflect in step 4, what is your favorite thing about your website. So that's what bubble 4 is that I showed you earlier here. This is a place to create your website. Remember, everything you're going to type in is basically going to be in between the body tags here. So if you try and type something here, it's probably not going to work. It's got to go in the body tags. And then as we go to page 5, or bubble 5 rather, that's just a place to review anything that you want to review. Make sure it's not throwing any pink bugs at you, or warning signs or warning flags, anything that you might need to fix. So how are you going to get graded for this project here? Well, here is the rubric. Remember, as I showed you in the last chapter, the rubrics are pretty simple. The left box is worth a 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. Again, 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. And remember, your total needs to reflect a score of 70% or greater to earn a 100%. Anything from basically just above 0 on up to 50% or 70% rather will earn you a 50 here. So read through here. I want to talk about the exemplar, the extensive evidence category rather. So to earn max points here for computer languages, you're going to use HTML paragraph and heading tags. So remember, those are those P tags and the H tags with the numbers. You don't want any really errors here, so you want everything to look visibly correct. You don't want me to see any pink warnings here. And you want me to see that everything you've typed is showing up that's not a tag. You're going to use the tags to format the page in a logical way that is consistent with the plan in the project guide and helps the user understand the page. So your image that you draw in the activity guide and what you write on those lines should be reflected in your actual work here. If it's not, you're going to want to go ahead and either revise the drawing and what you write, or come back and revise the web page to match. Your code is consistently well formatted with nested tags aligned vertically to make them easier to read. So we just don't want to have a bunch of stuff listed across one line. We'll stack them up going up and down so we can see everything. And then there's also a feedback task here later on that we'll get to when we are ready to give some feedback, but we are not yet ready to give some feedback because you need some time to build. So I want you to be thinking about a value that you're comfortable expressing and that you can express probably pretty well with what you know so far. Again, remember, you have some limitations on what you know. There's some more things coming. And once you have some ideas in your head, start putting some stuff down on paper on that activity guide. And once you get that activity guide filled out, start building your web page in Bubble 4.